What's going on, guys? My name's Adam Robertson, and it's a pleasure to join you guys today. Unfortunately, it's virtually, not able to come in and see you guys in person, but grateful that we're able to do so, man. I wanted to start off by saying that I'm not paid by your facility. I'm not on the payroll by anybody to do this. Really not affiliated with your facility in any type of way, shape, or form. But I come here simply just living out these principles, living out what I was taught in order to stay out of places like this. Stay out of detoxes, stay out of treatment centers. Been into every one of those a few times over, and this is part of the program that I work, the program that I was taught by others who have been the same places, that no longer live there. No longer see those places anymore unless they do bring in a meeting. This is the only reason why I do this, guys, and I want to start off with prayer, if you don't mind joining me. And God, thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for being the power that has set me free, that has set many free, God, and the same power that I believe is calling many people in this facility tonight. And just ask that you speak through me and open our hearts, help us to focus on what you have to show us tonight. In Jesus' name, amen. Guys, so there's just a couple points that I want to make, but to kind of vet myself a little bit, so you know that it's real. Started off drinking at a young age. It was really just to fit in, to feel a little better, fit in with this up here, not just be smoother with the girls, not just to hang out with the guys, you know what I mean? But fit in better up here. Just came from a broken home, blue collar, like the typical family, really these days, unfortunately saying, and had trouble adjusting to it, right? So started drinking. It was all fun and games at first, but then after a while, at some point, kind of crossed this line where I needed it. Right, where I couldn't really function without it, even, and where that point was, I don't know, but I sure know where it led me to. Right, chasing that drink, fighting the depression. The more I drank, the worse I felt, and I felt better when I drank. Does it make sense? No, but that's the way it worked for me. And amongst treatment centers from the age of 22 to the age of 30, where I found God in prison. There was probation stints, there was violation after violation, rehab, treatment, detox, even landed myself in a Baycare in West Palm Beach on 45th Street at St. Mary's, where I was Baker acted for 3 days. Baker acted myself because I just didn't have what it took to go on living anymore, and I had no other idea what to do. I just wouldn't die, to be honest with you. And the drugs, the alcohol, the women, the money, the hustle, these were all things that I learned to chase, right? Anything outside that could fill this brokenness inside, right? And there was even a couple times in recovery where I had a few months here, a few months there, a couple years, whatever, sober, and trying to work, trying to be a functioning member of society, that I even got the car back, got a girl, got a job, held a job for a little while, and then gave it all away again because I didn't have that ability, that power to plug into. Wasn't practicing some of these things that I've learned now. The couple things that I want to share with you to sustain that, right? To maintain the ability, give me the ability to stay there, right? I was used to coming up. I was used to the struggle. I wasn't used to success, right? And I'm not here to sell you dreams and tell you that everything's going to be okay and that your dog's going to shit gold and that you won't ever have any problems ever again. That's not here, not until we die, right? But what I can say is there's a way that you can live. Hear me now. There's a way that you can live that'll help you sail through these storms of life. That'll help you not be shooken off the horse when these surprises turn around, no matter what it may be. You don't have to drink over it. and I thank God for that every day. So after my time in that treatment, or in being Baker acted, right, I was high before the night ended. Finally happy that I didn't have to be dope sick. Woke up the next morning because I used to get dope sick, right? Like this was me. This was my idea. Violated probation. Ended up only did three years, but it was enough for me. The first year, still ripping and running. What worse can happen, right? You're already there. What worse can happen until you go to the box? You realize that it does get worse than General Pop. And it wasn't a year after I was in prison that I finally ran out of ideas. I slowed down enough to see the patterns of my choices. I'm going from camp to camp and pod to pod, and I can see that the choices I make leads to the relationships that I build, right? Leads to how people treat me, leads to the choices I make, leads to my consequences. All right, new pod, right? New wing, new camp. And I see it all happening over and over again, right? Because I'm still making the same choices. I'm looking for that dude that looks like he's selling something over in the corner, trying to get my hustle on, trying to smoke, whatever your thing is, And these were the things that I had trained myself to look for because this is what I was interested in, right? And they come with certain consequences. They come with certain lifestyles. They come with certain things that you got to do to get what you want, to do what you want. And what you want comes with certain outcomes. And the ones I always chose didn't lead to what I really wanted in life, what God wanted for me, right? Why I'm here, because whether you're there or not, whether it's what you want or not, or even whether how to get, that something needs to change, whether you understand these things or not, it doesn't matter where you are, but that the moment you stop fighting, the moment that we stop digging deeper, is when we reach our bottom and then can get up out the hole, right? So since I don't have much time and I'm used to being in person, that I just put down a couple points to kind of give you that helped me greatly with my transition, right, out of prison. Helped me greatly with every transition I've had since then. I went to the halfway house out of prison. I went into a internship with a church out of the halfway house, and now as a married man, during the COVID about a month ago, into role as a husband, into a role as a father, into different jobs, like all these transitions, right? They come with certain things that they can help you make it through. They can help you sustain. The outcome is up to God, right? But believe very much that we are responsible for the footwork. We're responsible for doing our part, and God's responsible for doing the heavy lift and doing what we can't do. You follow me? So these couple things will help me greatly, and help what I've seen a couple men get out of prison that didn't make it, that are back in, that maybe didn't even make it to see the gates again, that are dead. Breaking it down and really seeing what they did, what they didn't do. Again, with my own experiences, that this really works, right? Real simple, right? So I don't know who's ever seen Nature Channel, Discovery, whatever it is, that you got the safari scene, right? The safari, and you got the antelope hopping across the Sahara, whatever it is, and they're running, right? And then you see this lion coming, crouched down. He's on the hunt. He's ready to kill, right? What suppose you is the antelopes that survive, right? We've seen it. I've seen it 100 times. I don't know if you watch Nature Channel or not, but if you haven't, let me tell you that the ones that survive the attack are the ones that are in the middle of the herd, right? The ones that don't make it, the ones that are too cool for everybody else, the ones that isolate themselves out to the outer sides. Don't stay in the group. Don't run with the group, right? And it doesn't matter if you're wounded. It doesn't matter if you're young, if you're a baby, doesn't matter if you're an elder. Doesn't matter what your afflictions are physically that makes you different, that sets you apart from what everyone else appears to be in this herd. What every other antelope looks like. you only got one rack, you know what I mean? Like whatever it is, that if you're in the middle of that herd, you're okay, right? So seeing this like it, right? Whether it's your disease, whether whatever hurt, hang up, or thing that you got going on that brings you into places like this, right? That brings you into these consequences, that breaks relationships, that burns bridges, that causes this pain in our lives that we don't like, that we know that we don't want to have there, right? Whatever that thing is, just picture that as what it is, and picture that as what makes you different in your eyes, right? And understand that every antelope, every person has these things, right? But the only time that we are terminally different is when we choose not to be a part of the herd, right? So what herd are we talking about? What herd? Obviously we're not antelopes, but what I can tell you is to find, and this doesn't matter who, I'm a Bible believing, God fearing man, member of Alcoholics Anonymous, and I'm not saying you have to be. But those are people that I have common interests with. Those are people that were sick and suffering just like me, that have defects, that have a maladjustment to life just like me. Have that same commonality, not just in the brokenness, but in the wholeness, right? We all have this love. We all have this bond that is that sick and suffering, that is that desperateness that has driven us to seek help. And this is that herd that I roll with, right? My church family. This is that herd that I roll with. They have my best interests in heart. I have theirs, right? Willing to help, willing to talk, willing to give me some direction. Not, oh man, screw them, let's go out and get drunk. But give me some real direction, right? Sometimes it's not always easy to hear, but correct me when I'm wrong. Amend me when I'm right. Commend me when I'm right. Help me to get down the path a little on this journey, right? Like, this is my herd. So take some time. And I can't tell you what your herd is. This is where we usually have a discussion, but figure out what your herd is. Maybe it's not Alcoholics Anonymous. Maybe it's Narcotics Anonymous. Maybe it's Sex Anonymous. Maybe it's Gambling Anonymous. Maybe it's just church. Whatever it is, that's fine. That's great. Just find that herd and stay in the middle. When we get out of these places, right? We need a little more care. We need a little more attention. We need a little more direction. Right? We need to do some things before we can be that strong antelope to walk on our own. Even if you've been in here before, it's like retread like me, in and out of the rooms many times. And I don't mean the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous, but the rooms of the detox, the rooms of the rehab, where you've been in here a few times, you've had a few stints of recovery, and just can't seem to get something right. Doesn't mean that it doesn't work. It just means that we're missing something, right? So you don't have to start all over. You still know those things. You still know to go to a meeting, to get a sponsor, to do those steps with a sponsor, say hello to the new guys, get a commitment. Like, these things, so practice these things and pick up where you left off in the rooms, right? And in your herd. So kind of have it a little easier than those who don't know where that herd is or where they really fit in. So kind of dissect that tonight when you get back to your room, when you get some quiet time away from classes. Dissect that a little bit and figure out where it is, what group you're looking for, right? And the other is a transition plan. We fail to plan, we plan to fail, right? So if you want to stop it, where I ended before, and if you have to just start it, you know what I mean? Like, if I say the same line twice, then go ahead and delete one of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I can do that.
Just give me the signal when. So we fail to plan, we plan to fail, right? We don't actually want to fail. We just fail to actually make a plan that'll work, that'll help us transition up out of here and back into society. We go back into society, all we're going to go back into is where we knew, the people we knew, where we left off when we got there, right? I've done it so many times, man, I didn't think I had it in me anymore. My mom, my parents wrote me off as dead. Like, I don't say this for a shock factor, man, it's inevitable. really, we go back to the same place, and we're going to do the same things that we left off doing unless we choose to pick a different way before we get there. Unless we make some decisions right here, right now, tonight, before you get out of where you are, make some decisions right here, right now, of what you're going to do, right? Getting in the middle of the herd. This is a great step. This is part of that, that support, that resource of network of people, right? That is a great something outside of ourselves, and it will keep us from isolating, but also where you're going to go, the people that you may need to cut out of your life. Maybe just for a season, maybe for good. I don't know. I'm not here to tell you what to do, but it's sometimes people need to get cut out until we get to a healthy spot where we can operate, right? So with that is place to live, if you're lucky enough to have a job that you used to work at before you got into this jam, maybe we need to get there. Maybe you're in a facility where you're still working, right? And maybe the job environment just isn't the best, most suitable for the type of life that you want to live. Don't be afraid to put that down and seek different employment. Relationships regarding, even if it's within not getting in a relationship, maybe not dating for a while, whatever it is. Like, I'm just trying to give you ideas of where this can go. It gets detailed, it gets personal, right? Because this is personal. And to keep moving from there. And I encourage you 110%. Like I said, I can't tell you what to do, but everything in me encourages you to at least take these steps, right? And don't wait until your counselor, your tech, whoever it is, you have that one-on-one, that individual that to tell you, hey, you need to do this, or let's get you an exit strategy, and do the bare minimum. You go out there with the bare minimum, you're going to see the bare minimum, and it's going to lead you're going to lead back to what you know. Obviously that didn't work well for us, or else we wouldn't have ended up in the places we have, man. So really dig deep down, don't let this just be an inspirational little, oh, that sounds great, but actually take the initiative, take some responsibility and do it. And I'm telling you that like I said at the beginning, I was a dude that wasn't raised for this thing, right? I wasn't raised to be Baker acting myself. I wasn't raised to. I stuck out of prison like a sore thumb, right? My jail bids in and out and rehabs and probations, and I wasn't raised for that. Right? Like we weren't those types of, some raised to be some outlaw, but that's where I led, because that's where I ended up, because that's where my choices led me, right? The pain of getting there and fighting those things and knowing that you're going to prison next time you go to court and all that heavy weight, right, is dark. It is a lot, and it makes you look at something in my life, and that really, when I went through the transition, when I started this journey, that a man told me, same thing that I'm doing, right? He did for me. He found the way to get up out of that hole, and he shared it with me, and I told him some of the things that I had experienced in life. He was in a prison cell next to mine. And he said, what we need when we're in these situations, right? We're not terrible people. We may have done some things that we shouldn't have done. May have hurt some people, may have lied, may have cheated, may have stole. Maybe we have some patterns that in life, some choice, addictions, choice cravings that are really bad for us, right? They're sins. That's all it is, right? They're sins. And what we don't need to be locked up. Sometimes that's what happens, but we don't need to be locked up. We don't need to be cast away. We don't need to die because we have no other way and we just can't do it. And I'll never be good. I'll never be one of them, right? We need a sin bearer. That's it. We need somebody to take these sins from us, right? And that one is Jesus. Jesus was sent to earth for that exact reason, right? And if you find yourself here, you find yourself in a spot in your facility where things just don't really seem worth it anymore, where you're starting to see some differences, where it's just like, dude, what am I doing? I dare to say that God is calling you. I dare to say that your new life is calling you, and it could be right around that corner. It could be right here today. You could see the difference tonight. You could see the difference when you exit that facility, and you stick to those decisions that you made on how you're going to live, and to really live out seeking that new life, right? Seeking that life that is there, but you're not sure what it is, turning from that life that that you don't want, that is all that that what you've done before in the past, right? Am I making sense? Like, this is the chance right here, right now, make a transition plan. Get in the middle of a herd. Decide what that herd is, If you need some help, if you're in the Pasco area, I'm going to give you my number in just a minute. Find a piece of paper and a pen, and write it down. Obviously no games here. We get the women with women and men with men, and I know plenty of women in recovery and church services in not just my own church, whatever it is that we can link you up with, right? And men, give me a call. Before you even leave the facility, give me a call. We can find even a halfway house. We can find different groups, different herds for you to plug into. Are you ready with that number, right? So it's 727-484-5758. That's 727-484-5758. Just want to make sure you got it. But get in the middle of that herd. Make that transition plan. Reach out, right? Reach for what you don't have because you want it. And you'll find it. I guarantee you. But thank you for letting me share tonight, and I hope you all have a good evening and stay safe and healthy during this COVID-19.